Good morning and welcome to week 2 of this 30-day adventure to great photos. Alright, how did the first week go for you? Did you feel a big change by not working with a camera? I know it's very frustrating sometimes not to be able to use a camera, but we've been working on the most important tool ever, which is not a camera. Cameras will change, but this part will never change. This is what makes the difference between a beginner photographer and a great photographer. The masters that have been doing it for 50, 60, 80 years, the only difference is not the camera, it's what's inside their mind, how they perceive the world and how they're able to capture it. So this week, we're going to work on the capture aspect of things. So far, we've been talking about visualizing and seeing. Right now, we're gonna shift gears and we're gonna go into capture. As you might have realized, things starts to look completely different around you. We're looking at things through a new angle, and that new angle is going to help us find all the photos that we want to take around us. So to capture, in order to capture the best, as we saw last week, we had to find what to capture. Now, the exercise this week, during the whole week, we're gonna be working on how to capture best. And in order to capture best, we need to be thinking with a frame in mind. A frame like that, not this one, but we need to be thinking with the frame of our camera in mind. We have to think through a tool. How can we use our tools the best in order to capture what we want to capture, okay? It's kind of a mind shift. It's instead of just looking at everything globally, you need to think about it as if you had a camera in your eyes, as if you had that little frame. You could literally walk around the streets with a frame like that and look at everything. It would be a perfect exercise. Maybe people would think you're crazy, but that's okay. Just join the crazy people who progress in life. All right, so the big mission throughout the whole week is not going to be using your camera, your main camera. I want you to use your phone. It's unconventional, it's different, but it works, and there is a really good reason I'm progressing that way, and then I'm slowly adding up things. It's gonna ramp up, you'll see in the next days and weeks, but for now we're gonna be working with our phone. This is going to show us the frame we will have to work with. Why a phone? Simply because it can remove all the technical aspect that a camera will bring. We don't have to think about the lens, we don't have to think about aperture, we have to think about nothing else but just seeing through the phone. So this whole week you're gonna be using just your phone for all the exercises. You'll see we'll go way deeper into all the concepts that we saw last week. It's gonna be exercises, it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna be asking you to share what you're shooting with your phone in the Facebook group. No edits, just post it as you shot it in order to really have an impact and continue that training we're doing with our mind. Now, here are a few tips for using your phone the best. Number 1, I need you to turn off the HDR mode. The HDR mode is high dynamic range, and it simply means that your camera will try to bring out whatever is in the highlights and whatever is in the shadows and do something that is fairly even in exposure. I don't think this is the right way, because creatively right now we might want to be looking at just the shadows and we don't want to actually bring those shadows up. We want to keep them dark. So turn off the HDR mode. Then, second thing, turn off your flash. The flash is sometimes on phones by default. Make sure it doesn't fire, otherwise it's going to be completely useless. Next, we're gonna be looking at everything around us through the phone, but also through a grid. So turn on your grid, the rule of third, and maybe you can add a center point if you want, just to have an idea of where the center in your image is. Again, it's going to be that idea of dominance. It's going to be easier for you to compose images, and it's going to be easier for you to understand where elements are organized, how the lines are vertical or not vertical, where is the horizon, etc. Next, when you're shooting, the best is simply to tap onto your subject to focus on that subject. And if you're trying to do something different, if you're trying to shoot and expose for a very bright part in your image, simply tap on the part where you want to expose the light. Then you can long press or simply press on the lock, depending on your phone, to actually lock the exposure on that point, and then you can refocus on your subject if you want. Each phone works a little bit differently, but the concept is the same. You can lock exposure and then keep it constant for your whole scene. Now, last but not least, you can shoot in RAW and JPEG. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter right now because I just asked you to post the photos without any edits. Remember, we're here to progress, to take better photos. We're here to train our brain. We're gonna be thinking through the frame of a phone for now with that grid. We're gonna be working through those exercises, and let me tell you, it has been difficult for hundreds of students before you not to use their cameras, but they all agree after the 4 weeks that those 2 weeks have been the most important throughout their photography, and not working with the camera is sometimes a good thing. I know it's surprising, but yes. And if you still have doubts about the capabilities of a phone, here is what I shot with my phone in New York City about a year and a half ago. This is absolutely epic. We have beautiful sky, we have cool leading lines, we have this really great road, and I mean, I just love that photo. As you can tell, I even printed it. It looks amazing, and it was just shot with my phone. It was also one of my most liked photo in 2018, which, I mean, you would think it's the $5,000 camera. Nope, not necessarily. It was just shot with my phone. Again, great cameras don't make great photos. With that being said, I'll meet you for the first day of this second week. Let's get started. Let's go.